Today we got another driving test leaving from Birmingham Garretts Green. You can see Red Fury at the bottom there, taking another student now, see if they can get their pink licence today. The rear camera will be starting shortly. There's an examiner behind us at the moment. I don't want to show their face just for their privacy. It's a little bit busier starting out today, but they wait for a good suitable gap, looking in all directions. I'm not going to be able to point out every internal fault for this test. I didn't sit in on it, and the briefing was a little bit shorter, but anything that you can see on camera I will still point out. Up ahead, as always, we've got the large trucks, narrowing the space a little bit. It is clear, so they keep good progress going. They kept a nice low speed for this gap. They didn't try to floor it through at 30 miles per hour. When they did move back to the left, they made sure that they kept checking their left mirrors throughout. As the weather gets hotter, it's quite important that you're happy with the temperature and the feel of the car before you move out. If you want the windows open, open the windows. Make sure you're happy with the controls for them. The last thing you want on your test is to be all hot and sweaty. I can see that this turn could have been a lot sharper. To the left, they are a little bit wide out. There's currently a truck to their right hand side which blocks the traffic nicely. It would have been a good time to move out about now, as larger vehicles take quite a while to turn in. If there's two vehicles turning left, generally you have enough space, or if it's a larger vehicle. If there's just one vehicle turning left and there is another one behind it, that can be a lot riskier to move out on, and I wouldn't recommend it. As they approach the crossroads, they start their observations early. They can see it's clear, so they move on and there's no hesitation. They've been asked to take the next road on the right. I hope you all know that it's not the return that you see with the no entry signs. Okay, this is every learner's worst fear for their test. There is a cyclist up ahead. Thankfully, he's been asked to pull over. So what it looks like now is the examiner's setting up the sat-nav for the independent driving. This can be anywhere between 10 to 15 minutes. At the roundabout, he's been asked to turn right. The BMW is slowing down and the white car is turning right, blocking the BMW's path. But as my learner goes to pull out, the BMW then floors it in front of him. The examiner has to take control to stop him going into his side. At the end of the briefing, the examiner did say it did look like the BMW was giving way, but it was 100% the BMW's priority, even if he did accelerate extremely dangerously into the roundabout. So that was one of those really unfortunate situations where if the BMW was giving him way, which it looked like, and he slowed down, he could have got a point for hesitancy for it. And at this point, there's probably the very awkward silence inside the car as he knows that he's failed. Let me know if you've ever had a situation like that where it looks like somebody was giving way, but then they've just decided to progress and it's cost you your test. So all the faults I did get told about start to happen from now. There was a good amount of stalling, which could have nearly gone down as serious faults, but they were only marked as 4 minors. He handles this right turn really well. He's following the sat nav, so we moved over to the right hand nicely. He didn't hesitate in the middle of the roundabout and he took it. He leaves a good gap at the junction so any vehicles that want to emerge from it can move out. He didn't wave out the van or anything like that, he just waited and made eye contact with the driver like the highway code says. There was no faults recorded for that. You can see on the roundabout that he's turning right. So as the lanes start to widen up, he sticks to his right, checking the mirrors as well as he moves across. He handles the roundabout well, he sticks nicely to the inside, and he's got all the correct signals and mirrors on at this point. Because he is going straight ahead to the next roundabout and he can see that, he should be checking his centre and left mirror now, and ideally thinking about moving over to the left-hand lane to make the next roundabout easier. When approaching this roundabout, he stops because he wasn't sure if it was safe to go, but he stops in third gear without the clutch down so the car stalls. Because of the larger car behind him is quite close, he starts to feel a little bit under pressure at the moment, so I think he was a bit slower at starting off the engine. This could quite easily have gone down as a serious fault, but it was only marked as one minor. Now, when I watched this part, I really got quite confused, because he does end up eventually going straight ahead. There's not really a route that takes you right unless you're going into the actual trading estate itself. So because of the lane he was in, he thought he could only go around the roundabout to take the exit, and that's it. I don't know if there was any conversation that got had in the cabin, I just know that there wasn't any faults picked up at this point, because he would have done all the correct signals, all the correct mirrors. Now, this road's famous for parallel parking, let's see if he gets given one here. With this mini roundabout, do make every effort to try and go all the way around it, don't just floor it straight through it, as that could cause you a serious fault. He pulls over nicely and does all the appropriate checks. When he moves off, he does the same with his all-round observations. And as predicted, he has got a parallel park. So he's been pulled up on the left, and then he'll be told to use that car in front and do a parallel park. Most of my tests that come down this road, nearly all of them end up doing a parallel park down here at some point. He was really nervous about this one before his test, but he actually pulled it off amazing, didn't get any faults. Positioning was fantastic, observations were fantastic. There was a little bit of a panic, the lesson before the test, getting this kind of nailed, but he did great. He's now most of the way through his test. There's only about 10 or 15 minutes remaining, as you can see on the sat nav at the moment. This roundabout sometimes causes some confusion. He's been asked to go straight ahead at the roundabout. He is on the inside, but because of the parked vehicles, and he checks to make sure it's safe, this is perfectly fine. And always be very cautious of shoppers down this stretch here, stepping out in front of the road to get to their cars. He does well at this turning left because he starts to look nice and early. He sees gaps, he takes it straight away, he keeps the car rolling. If it's safe to keep the car rolling, do it because it's so much easier than moving the car down to first gear, getting to the biting point, starting off, etc. So if it's safe, keep the car rolling. If you do have to stop, obviously always stop. At this roundabout, he's been asked to go straight ahead. Again, he keeps to the inside of the roundabout. Now, it was acceptable to do this here is because there was only one lane on approach to the roundabout. There wasn't road markings telling you that you must be in the left-hand lane, so therefore the outside. So yes, he is on the inside, but he checked his mirrors and moved across back to the outside, and it was safe to do so. Now, for you eagle-eyed viewers, he's been asked to take right fourth exit. So this can be a slightly complicated one. If there's more than one right, they will number it for you. So he has a good entry position. He sticks to the inside of the roundabout. He does all the correct mirror checks as he moves off. You'll notice the car gets a bit jumpy here. It's due to coming off of the clutch too quick when moving off. As always down this road, there's quite a lot of meeting situations, squeezing in gaps, moving out of gaps, making sure it's safe. He handles all of it well down here and has some amazing mirror checks. At this roundabout, he's going straight ahead. If you look further ahead, you'll see a tunnel. Remember, nobody has priority over the other on this tunnel. If somebody has already entered and established in this tunnel, then they have the priority from there. If you're unsure whether it's safe to go, just hold back. This upcoming road causes a few issues sometimes on lessons. There's quite a lot of people in Birmingham that got driving licenses from Timu, and they don't realise that the priority lines are on their side. So you may have people trying to force their way out from there. As long as you observe, check to make sure it's safe to continue, you have priorities, so keep the progression going. If somebody quite clearly isn't listening to the rules of the road, then obviously you can stop from there if you do have to. Now, because it's near the end of his test, I think at this point he's just very, very tired, probably a little bit stressed. He's been asked to turn left at the roundabout and gets a never serious fault. I want you guys to tell me if you can spot it. So, did you spot it? Yeah, it was a repeater light, so he shouldn't have stopped there. And because the car then approached from behind him and the examiner had to tell him to move on, it then caused him to stall. And there was a pedestrian coming, which could have thought that he was giving them way. So, that one mistake got him a serious fault, a minor fault, and also if the pedestrian had stepped down, got confused, and then he would have continued, it could have been a dangerous fault. So, it just shows you how things can spiral quite quickly. Again, this bit threw me off because you don't actually see this too often. He's been asked to follow the road around to the left. He's already done his manoeuvres. Not quite sure why. Maybe it was to take up a little bit of extra time on a test. Maybe he saw a blockage ahead or something. I'm not sure. At the end of this road, you'll always be asked to turn left if you do get taken down here. Emerge out very slowly as the cars go quite fast and they can catch you out. Now that's the end for this test. It was a quite unfortunate one because obviously the incident with the BMW where it looked like he was given way but then sped up. So it just goes to show you even some fantastic drivers like this one can make some mistakes on test day. Now, if you have stayed on this far, I am going to be doing mock tests in the upcoming future. So if you want to take a mock test and have it recorded, drop me a message. They will be free of charge. There'll only be one a month, but it will be first come, first serve.